guys, it's Coach Harris again with 5-Minute Math. Hope everybody's doing well. I want to piggyback on what we just did on that last video where we did the basics of inequalities. We talked about what to do when we're solving inequalities, especially inequalities of one variable. So anyway, during that video, we discovered that the symbols for inequalities are these four. We got greater than, we got less than, we got greater than or equal to, and we have less than or equal to. So now what we want to do is, once we know how to solve an inequality, we want to take it to another level. We want to represent the solution graphically. All right, and so this video is going to focus on how we do that for one variable or single variable inequalities. So let me give you an example. Okay, so let's say we have 3x less than or equal to, we'll say 12. Okay, remember back when we were solving this, we treated it exactly the way we would as an equation. And the one occurrence where we don't is if we're dividing by a negative. Well, that's positive. Everything's positive here. So I'm going to divide by a positive. Divide both sides by positive 3. Got less than or equal to 12 divided by 3. That cancels. I get x is less than or equal to 12 divided by 3 is 4. Okay, again, that pairs up real nicely with what we just did. But now we want to say, okay, well, what does that look like? What does that answer look like on a graph? Since there's one variable, we want to work with the graph in one dimension, okay, left and right. So consider it as like just an x-axis without the y-axis of a coordinate plane. So let me say I start right here at 0. I go over here 1, 2, 3, and 4. There's a point right there at 4. Let me throw a couple other points in there as well. Okay, now what does this graph look like? Sorry, thought someone was knocking on the door. All right, so these symbols right here pair up with a very specific way to graph that point. Remember, this is less than or equal to. The or equal to means that that point is included in the answer. Well, we got two different options here. We can have an open point or we have a closed-in point. Which one makes the most sense? Well, if you think about it, or equal to, we would want to have a closed point. So let's package this together like this. Okay, these are going to be a closed point inequality. Okay, these two are going to be open points. That's when we're dealing with single or one variable inequalities. Okay, the next video we'll pick up is going to talk about what we do when we have multiple variable inequalities, specifically linear inequalities or two variables. Okay, so now I know I'm going to be working around the point that's positive 4. I close it in because I got less than or equal to. And now all we got to do is think of this as an x-axis, this number line. All right, which way is negative or which way is less than? The left. So I'm going to take my pencil or pen, I'm going to draw an arrow that way. That's the way we would do that. Okay, so what have we done? We've taken a look at the solution of an inequality, single variable inequality. Then we take a look at how we graph that variable, or excuse me, that solution of that inequality. Okay, it's either going to be a closed point or it's going to be an open point. If the symbol is greater than or equal to, less than or equal to, it's closed point. If it's greater than or less than, it's an open point. Let's take a look at one that's open point. So let's say I've got negative 3x is going to be greater than or equal to 5, okay? Not ready to graph it yet. We want to get the solution. So I've got to divide both sides by negative 3. When I do that, I flip that sign. I got to change that around. And I get 5 divided by negative 3. So that gives me x is less than or equal to negative 5/3. Oh my gosh, that's a fraction. What do I do with that? Well, let's find the two integers that are closest to that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this right here. So I got 0, negative 1, negative 2. If you understand your fractions, you just take that divide, you get negative 1.6 repeating. Okay, so it's going to be between negative 1 and negative 2. So I'll go a little bit past halfway between those two. It's less than or equal to. I'm going to go ahead and fill it in. Less than or equal to goes that way. All right, hopefully this has been helpful. This is Coach Harris and another 5-minute math lesson. Thank you.